What is going on, everybody? How are we doing today? Today is UFC 316 Media Day. It's Wednesday, June something, June 4th, 5th, somewhere around there. I truly don't even know what day it is. Hold on, let me see. It is the 4th. That's what I said. I said all along. I told you. Everybody else said the 5th. You are wrong. But yeah, anyways, we are here with some UFC news. Most of this is going to be some coverage of the Media Day interviews, but I also have some news as well. So let's get right on to it. First up, Derek Lewis says the UFC is scripted, says heavyweight legend. UFC, he leaks the Nashville results for the July 12th fight card. Interesting. A lot of people have been wondering this from time to time, if it's scripted, if it's not scripted. And apparently he says it is. So let's see what he has to say. I'm sure because it's Derek Lewis, he's just saying it to say it. He doesn't actually think it's scripted. But let's see. Good news for our audacious bettors. UFC already wrote the script for its upcoming Nashville event on July 12th at Bridgestone Arena in Tennessee. And according to headlining heavyweight Derek Lewis, the plan is to have the Black Beast win by a knockout and extend his current record to 16. It's scripted, Lewis told Ariel Helwani. I guarantee he goes, it's scripted. He said it like that. It's part of the script. The whole UFC is scripted. It's part of the plan. So July 12th, they want me to win by first round knockout. It's part of the script, Lewis continued. So whoever wants to go make that bet, go ahead and make that bet because everything is scripted. That would result in a pretty good payday for bettors, taking Lewis at his word, considering the Black Beast remains a sizable underdog ahead of his octagon return. The 40-year-old Texan had a bad back and dropped 4 of his last 6 dating. Wait, what? And dropped 4 of his last 6 dating back to early 2022. Teixeira's only 25? Is 8-0 with 7 of those wins coming by way of knockout. So that's it. This sounds like typical Black Beast just joking around, making fun of the UFC, making fun of himself. I always love when he talks smack on Daniel Cormier. I think it's hilarious. So let me know down below what you think. Do you think the UFC is scripted? I personally do not, but who knows? Next up, after that, we have Pitbull. Pitbull is going to make his second UFC debut. We're going to pretend the first one didn't happen, but he's going to set to face Dan Ige at UFC 318. So that'll be the July card. I believe that is the card with Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier. Patricio Pitbull will make his second octagon appearance against Dan Ige at UFC 318 on July 19th. Former Bellator Pitbull is a former 2 Bellator division champion, signed with the UFC earlier this year and suffered a unanimous decision loss to number 4 ranked Yair Rodriguez at his debut in UFC 314. The 37-year-old Brazilian remains unranked in the UFC's 145-pound division, though he was widely considered one of the best fighters outside of the promotion before departing the PFL. Blah, 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 blah. Ige, ranked number 14, snapped a 2-fight skid with a third-round TKO of Sean Woodson at UFC 314. Oh, wow, they fought on the same card. The 33-year-old Hawaiian called out Pitbull after the event. A UFC 318 main event, Holloway is scheduled to defend the BMF belt in a lightweight trilogy bout with Dustin Poirier. It will be the final fight of Poirier's illustrious career. So with that, nothing too crazy, but Pitbull does have his second fight. A lot of people still think, even though at his old age of 37, that he can make it decently far in this heavyweight, or not in this heavyweight, Jesus, in this division in the UFC with the heavy hitters, not heavyweight. But let me know down below what you think about Pitbull facing Ige. Ige called it out, spoken into existence, and it is now here. With that, real quick, I'll be right back. Just 1 second. Sorry. Forgot to hit unmute. Whoops. Forgot to hit record again. So I'm going to go ahead and just do that now. So after this, we're going to go on to the next topic, which is Paige Van Zant. So she suffers a crazy neck injury ahead of the power slap return. There's a chance I will be paralyzed. That sounds like a chance you might not want to take, girl. It sounds, I mean, I don't know. Let's just see what she has to say.
What's up, guys? So I'm sure you've seen the news. My upcoming power slap match for a title is postponed. Unfortunately, I had to pull out. I have a pretty severe neck injury. If it was not such a big deal, I definitely would still compete. especially because I was just really excited. It's, such a big deal, and I was so excited for, Power Slap to give me the opportunity to fight for a title. I have what is called a spontaneous spinal epidural hematoma.
Jesus.
So it actually didn't come from training. It is a 1 in a million freak crazy injury that happened in my neck. I was having problems with my neck. I went and got an x-ray because it was feeling pretty serious, and I kind of knew something was wrong. The x-ray showed a little something, but they were like, let's get an MRI just to be sure. Went and got an MRI. The radiologist called me and was like, you need to see a neurosurgeon immediately. I got in with a neurosurgeon. Thank you. To the Power Slap team has been super helpful. Everybody at the UFC, they've been so helpful in getting my scans and stuff reviewed. But basically the neurosurgeon at this point, one is surprised that I don't have any neurological issues, because I'm going to put what it's called in the caption. It's extremely serious. A lot of times people become paralyzed, start losing function of their arms and legs pretty quickly. I don't have that, which is a really good sign. It's been, I've been dealing with this for about a week now. It's almost now to the point where I do feel totally fine. I do have some,
All right. Well, I don't want to keep going. It's going to be fucking forever. But yeah, that sounds pretty serious. So at least she did pull out of the fight. She wasn't just like, let me just fight anyways and see what happens, or the slap contest, whatever you guys want to call it. But yeah, that's pretty scary. I hope everything goes well. How do you just notice something like that, though? That's kind of crazy. Didn't happen from training. No, it probably happened because she's on fucking OnlyFans, and just who knows what she's doing on there. Just kidding. Hope everything goes okay. But with that, what do you think about this? Do you think that they should postpone the Power Slap main event, or they should still have it and then just give Paige the shot when she comes back? I think they should do that. I think they should still have her opponent and just have her face someone new, and then give Paige just the immediate title shot when she comes back. With that, let me know down below what you think about this. Have you ever suffered from that kind of a neck or injury? Do you know anybody that's had that happen? That sounds really scary. So hopefully all goes well. Moving on, former UFC knockout artist is now too big. So BKFC owner Conor McGregor created a super heavyweight division and title. So Ben Rothwell versus something Simon. Ben Rothwell too big now? Too big over 265? Can't cut down a little bit, dude? BKFC is headed down under. BKFC announced today that its debut fight card in Australia will be headlined by former UFC champion heavyweight contender Ben Rothwell against Alex Simon for BKFC's inaugural super heavyweight title fight. Which honestly, I don't mind super heavyweight. It makes sense. I think. Well, I would say UFC should have super heavyweight, but they can't even get their heavyweights in line. So who knows? Rothwell snatched BKFC's heavyweight strap from Mike Terrell in 36 seconds at Knucklemania 5 earlier this year. Rothwell could be ultra scary at super heavyweight, especially because he will no longer have to cut to 265-pound limit anymore. Conor McGregor was super excited to make the announcement a shocker. Inaugural super heavyweight world title on the line. A terrible Irish impression. Big Ben Rothwell aims for double gold honors and heavyweight and super heavyweight world champ. So, is he going to do both? All right. Rollins and these chicks are fighting again. Didn't they already fight? I feel like the girls always fight the same people every single time. But July 18th, U.S. time, and then July 19th, Australian time. So BKFC 79. BKFCs, they're fun. I like watching them. I have a good time with them. When I fought in California, I got my walk around weight down to 296, and then leading up to cut day, I was 288. That's crazy. So we're under 20 pounds that I got off not too badly. It was some work, but something this time around, it was a full 31 pounds. I got down to Thursday when they did their pre-weight check with me. I was 295. So I was every bit of 20 pounds in less than 24 hours. It was a 20-pound weight cut. That's crazy. So what do you think about this with BKFC with the super heavyweight division? Do you think Ben Rothwell is going to do simultaneous? He's going to do two, heavyweight and super heavyweight. Are you going to watch BKFC? Do you care? I'll watch. I don't know if I'll pay for it, but I'll watch. With that, that's it for that news. And rounding out our news today, UFC broadcast deal update. ESPN is the furthest along, but Amazon is pushing for pay-per-view content. Please, 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 MMA gods, give us anything but ESPN again. They suck. Where will UFC fights end up in 2026? There's still no clear answer, but there are interesting developments at the latest media rights battle. The UFC is deep into negotiations with several major media companies for a new broadcast deal, but it could be months before we'll learn where the combat sports promotion will land. Unfortunately, it probably will be ESPN, but God, I hope not. That's according to the industry insiders at Puck, which covers the big wheelings and dealings of the media megacorp at the center of today's entertainment universe. Renewal talks with ESPN appear to be the furthest along. Amazon Prime and Netflix are also in the room. Netflix isn't doing it. Supposedly, Netflix wants like everything. Like they want like all the TKO stuff, not just ESPN. Amazon, I'm told, is most interested in UFC's pay-per-view business, he wrote, before adding that Warner Brothers Discovery is a wild card that could step in and snap a piece of the UFC broadcast update. I've been saying this all along. When Bellator was around, Warner Brothers Discovery, they had Bellator with HBO Max, and it was awesome. It was a great run of what's it called? Not packaging, but the distribution and the media, whatever it is. I don't know how to say it, but it was great on Max. I thought it worked really well. So I think they should push a little bit harder for it, but who knows? According to Puck, the UFC is looking to break their broadcast rights into two chunks, but may sell both to one partner. The division is obvious to us. There's the pay-per-view side of things, and there's the standard broadcast package, including UFC Fight Nights, Ultimate Fighter, Dana White Contender Series, and other programming. Currently, all that lives on ESPN Plus until the end of the year. Puck notes that a new deal with ESPN could move that company's new direction to consumer products. In other words, the extremely expensive package the sports company is preparing to launch in the near future. Yeah, I think ESPN is doing a whole ESPN bundle, just a bunch of different ESPN shit. I don't know why it's not just one thing called ESPN and you go and you search for whatever it is that you want. Sorry, hiccups. It's already rough having to pay for ESPN Plus in order to have the privilege of paying for UFC pay-per-views. Agreed. I don't even pay for the ESPN Plus. I share it with my dad, and then I pay for the pay-per-views. But it's still annoying. It's stupid. ESPN Plus has proven itself to be reliably unreliable over the past 4 years. Absolutely, that app sucks. It sucks on the iPads. It sucks on the Android tablets. It sucks on the internet browser. It sucks on the phones. It sucks on the Apple TV. It sucks on the smart TV. The app just sucks. It will be interesting to see where UFC ends up, how many pieces it's chopped into, and how much it will cost to be a UFC fan from 2026 forward. Okay, here is what I think you should do. I think if you want to stick with ESPN Plus, there's a segment of ESPN you should pay for. If you want all the other stuff, that's fine. But if it's UFC specifically, you should only be paying for the pay-per-views. So if they want to stick with ESPN for pay-per-view, they should have ESPN pay-per-view. So whether it's boxing, whether it's WWE, if they decide to do that route, even though I think WWE is with, I don't know what the pay-per-views are through. I think Peacock, but or UFC or anything that's a pay-per-view buy, have ESPN pay-per-view, and then maybe it's $10 a month, and then you reduce the pay-per-view cost to $70 instead of $80, so it's still like that same amount. I don't know. There should just be a specified area for the pay-per-view specifically that costs less if it's going to be an app, or the pay-per-view cost itself should come down. I remember when stuff was like $40-$50 and now it's $80. It's ridiculous. And then aside from that, if they want to go somewhere else, then yeah, Netflix could be the fight nights, or maybe Netflix will have the fight night fight nights at the Apex. So it would be like a whole category. Netflix fight night at the Apex. And then because they're expanding the Apex, they're making it bigger. So that'd be cool. And then maybe Prime has UFC fight night in whatever town that they're in. So like Prime has their own section. So it's all split up. I mean, it would suck because people would have to go and buy all these different things, but we all have it anyway. Stop lying to yourself if you don't. And then pay. So I think that's how they should do it. I also think what they should do is completely reinvest in the UFC app, put everything on the UFC app. They got the money. Make your own broadcasting team. I don't know. Figure it out. Partner with somebody else to do it and do everything in the UFC app, or have a TKO app. TKO is the owner. Have a TKO app that is separate, that separates UFC, WWE, and whatever else they own. So it's literally like the TKO app. and then you go in, and that's the broadcasting through all that. I don't know. There's a lot of things that they could do that they aren't doing, and if they just re-sign with ESPN, it's going to really bother me. Let's keep reading. I think I just said this. Okay. So that was it for the article, I believe. Yeah, so that was it. Let me know what you think. You obviously heard my thoughts about what I think the UFC should do when it comes to the broadcast rights. I don't know. I still think between Netflix, Max, and or HBO Max and Prime, I think Max was the best when it came to fights. Their broadcast was rarely had any issues. The streaming technicalities, I guess, of it rarely had any issues ever whenever I was watching Bellator. There's a lot less people that watch Bellator, though, so it could be that too. But anyways, let me know down below what you think they should do. So now that's it for the news today. Pretty short news day. Haven't really seen anything else. Let me look up real quick, actually, if there's something else maybe that we could look up. Let's see, UFC news. Oh yeah, there's some Bryce Mitchell stuff. I can talk about that another day. Okay, Chris Motino is back. So we could do this real quick. He's back. Chris Motino booked against Malcolm Wellmaker at UFC Atlanta on June 14th. So that's next week. So this guy, he's the guy that stepped in and fought Sean O'Malley. Look at that nose there. You see that? Fought Sean O'Malley. He got picked apart, but he put up a good fight, didn't give up. And then I think he lost the other one too, and they released him. But it looks like he's back now, so he'll be fighting. So good for him. Let's see. Let's go back and see what else, just in case. Okay, a bunch of Macy Barber stuff. Nothing too crazy. Apex need to die. I agree, but they're expanding it, so it won't. Okay, so all that same gunk, and with that, I'm gonna go ahead and react to some media day interview stuff. So I am on MMA Junkies YouTube page. Shout out to them. They do a great job clipping all these separate interviews. So I'm going to watch a few of them and just react and just sit back and chill. So if you'd like to watch, join in, stick around. Let's see. I'll go ahead and start. I'll do Joe Pyfer, Sean O'Malley, Merab, Kayla, Juliana, Kelvin, and Kevin Holland. I'll do all of them. So let's see. Let's go ahead and start with Joe Pyfer. Let's see what he's got to say.
At Spectrum, we know life moves fast.
Whoa!
Keep up with the speed, reliability, and security of Spectrum Internet.
A person like this was in Mexico. It's not oftentimes when a fight falls out that close to fight, the UFC will rebook it on, maybe even a bigger card. So I guess, just how's life been since that when you had to pull out to now and you get to rebook with Kelvin on a probably bigger card?
I'm grateful for the opportunity. I think it's getting the justice it deserves, especially the type of fighters that me and KG are. So I'm excited, man. I'm just thankful that he took the fight, and we have unfinished business, and it was a very unfortunate series of events that happened out in Mexico. There's a first time for everything, and that's the first time I've ever not been able to make a fight and was that unhealthy that fast. And it just sucks, man. It sucks. It sucks just because all the time that went into it, the money. But at the end of the day, that's yesterday, and I'm in the present moment now, and we get to run it back, and I'm grateful for that.
Given the fact that you did put a whole fight camp for Kelvin, you cut the weight, you made the weight, and then you have to just redo it all again for the same guy, has it just felt like one long fight camp at this point?
Absolutely. It was back-to-back camps, so it definitely feels long. But, ultimately this is my job, and the only bad part about this, because otherwise I would be in the gym trying to get better anyways, is just that, I got a weight cut back-to-back. But I think I'm on top of it very well. I've always been a professional and made weight, and I'm excited to step in there Saturday.
And in terms of game planning for Kelvin, I assume you had him scouted out pretty well the first time. And then so what do you do in this second fight camp essentially? Like, do you go back to the drawing board, or you just kind of stay healthy and just recut the weight and just kind of pick up the blueprint, run forward?
Yeah, I think we have the
Chili in
blueprint,
here.
and I think there's a lot of video out there on him to be able to study, obviously, which we've done. So I think it's just a continuation of the game plan while trying to fine-tune it even better, and just give me more time to prepare and just be ready for any situation times two. But yeah, I mean, we're more than prepared for anywhere this fight goes.
And then last one for me, going off of that, a lot of fans, they'll give you flack for this, but Kelvin hasn't said anything. Like, he hasn't said anything negative. You haven't said anything negative about him. Yeah. So I guess just how much appreciation, not just for taking the fight, but if anyone should probably be annoyed, it would be Kelvin, and he hasn't said anything negative about you.
I mean, I wouldn't expect him to say anything negative because, I mean, he's missed weight before, right? How many times? And that's not, taking a dig at him, but things happen. And I respect him because he has fought everybody. He's a tested guy. He's been here for a long time, so it would be wrong of me to come up here and disrespect him. Now, do I think I'm going to beat his ass? I do. That's my competitive nature. That's why we're fighting, and we get to find out Saturday. But, yeah, I would say I don't appreciate it, but I respect it because if he was upset and he had something to say, I can understand that. But as far as everybody else, running their mouth, they can shut the fuck up. Like, they're not the ones cutting weight. They're not the ones spending money. They're not the ones in a training camp. They're not the ones that, had to go through what I did. And so, yeah, no, I'm just grateful that he wanted to fight still. And we got it rebooked. Like I said, when you face off and you make weight and you don't get to do the dance, I think it's unfinished business. So I'm glad he's my opponent again. And I'm really grateful and happy that we get to run it back.
Joe over here. We've seen throughout his career some ups and downs from Kelvin. You mentioned like his weight issues. So I feel like we sometimes see different kind of versions of him when he's out there. I guess, what are you kind of expecting to see when you guys get in there? What version of Kelvin Gastelum are you hoping for?
I've trained for the Kelvin that fought Izzy, the guy that's going to be in your face, the guy that's got the cardio to go hard 15 minutes. And
bro, I think Piper's getting him out
so
first
I'm
round,
for
maybe
the best
second
version of Kelvin. I also thought,
a long fight.
In my personal opinion, that KG has done his better work at 85. He's not going to be as sucked out as 70, obviously, but I still think that there's a huge power difference between us. I think there's a big skill difference between us. As far as me being more complete, I think a lot of people go off my Jack Hermanson fight, which is fine, but that was my first big show, my first big test. Walked into it not 100%, had some things going on, and it wasn't my best performance, but I didn't get rocked, I didn't get dropped, I didn't get submitted, I didn't get fraud checked. So let's redefine what fraud checked is. If anybody got fraud checked, we could say it's Bo Nickel. He got finished on his first loss. I lost basically a split decision, 3 rounds to 2. So it is what it is, man. Yeah, but I'm prepared for KG of old.
Yeah, and he's never been finished with strikes. I know you mentioned your power. When you're game planning for him, how much does that play into your psyche going in? Do you want to be the first guy to finish him, or do you have to adjust, like, this guy's probably going to take some of my better shots?
No, I mean, listen, I know I can finish him. There's no question. If my power touches his chin, I can fold anybody in this division. That's a fact. So that's just what I believe. And again, I believe it's a fact. Like, you can't take the kind of shots, especially if I'm sitting on my shots. I'm going to hurt you. And at the very least, hurt you, and then it'll lead to a finish. But, I mean, ultimately, my job is to go out there and win. I would love to get a finish over KG, but like I said, I'm prepared for 15 minutes. That's what I put in my mind. But make no mistake, I will be trying to cause damage, and I will be trying to get him out of there. And just because he hasn't been finished by TKO or KO in the cage doesn't mean it can't happen. So same thing goes for me, obviously. There's a first time for everything, but I'm really confident in my skills and my preparation, and I think I'll be able to get him out of there some way, one way or another.
Hi. You've talked, obviously, about your wrestling coach, Will Harmon, in the past. Given the proximity to media, will he be there on Saturday? Will you have any other friends? Or
Yeah, I have a lot of people here.
So today's the day.
Oh,
I got
ads.
my RTA mock system
Come on, man.
and Coyote appliances. And they did tell me it was only going to take a few minutes, and I got to say, they were right.
I haven't offered him to come yet, just because of trying to figure out everything with tickets and whatnot. He's got 3 babies, and he's got a special needs daughter, so she requires a lot of his time. It's hard for him to get away. But yeah, I mean, he texts me, we talk all the time, and he's always going to be somebody very special in my life. He's the guy that gave me the opportunity to pursue this career and be where I am now. So without him, you know, none of this is possible, to be honest.
Has he seen you fight professionally in person before?
Yes.
Which fights?
That's a good question. He's been to a lot.
Okay.
He's been to probably all of my early pro fights. He was in my Miami fight. I think he's only been to 1 or 2 of my UFC fights, just because of travel. He's a full-time teacher, full-time dad.
Do you ever go back to Pencrest and like try and?
Yeah, sometimes I'll go back for like the pep rallies and, you know, just get the kids hyped up. So I try to show face. It's been a little harder because I've had back-to-back camps, so I haven't seen them as much this time. But yeah, I always try to go back and, you know, talk to the kids or just get them hyped up, and you know, I don't forget where I came from. So the Pencrest Wrestling Room was special.
All that doesn't leave
his program,
his psyche and his mentality.
The coaches and the lifelong friendships I built there.
Thank you.
Joe, right back here. Your team at Marquez MMA is already in conversation to be the team of the year this year. What has this momentum been like for you, and what's it like being surrounded by those guys day in and day out?
It's great, man. It just shows that we work hard and what we do works, obviously. And I don't really look too much into that. You know what I mean? We're all just equal people training and trying to pursue this dream the best we can. And, you know, we don't really worry about if we win the award or, you know, anything like that. We just try to focus on individual fights, individual performances, and obviously the team success is huge. The momentum definitely helps. You know, everybody's happy, everybody's coming in and training harder, and you see guys that win on a Saturday and they're in there training on a Monday, Tuesday, like Nursultan. So yeah, it's definitely a good feeling to have the team winning versus obviously having to pick up your teammates when they lose.
And you recently partnered up with the brand Out Pouch.
Yeah.
They partner up with military dogs after they complete their service, which I think is super cool and right up your alley, right?
That's cool.
What's it like being a representative of them within the professional realm of MMA?
I love that you brought that up. That's a great question because I just did, you know, a deal with them, and I'm a big fan of Tucker Carlson and watching all of his interviews and just his outtake on things. And I'm just happy to support a brand that, you know, actually stands for something positive and, you know, they're impacting the world. And I think Tucker's doing a great job of that. And I'm very happy to be able to rep them on my back. And I hope that I can become, you know, like the first branded athlete for them at this level in the UFC. So shout out to Alp and Tucker Carlson. Let's get this dude's ass whooped on Saturday.
And last for me, you recently appeared in a documentary on Roku. What was that whole experience like for you? And are you glad that fans have the opportunity to kind of see your preparation from a behind-the-scenes angle?
Yeah, so the documentary is free on Roku. It's out finally after 2 years. We had a lot of things that we had to get through with licensing and who was paying what. And it was a little bit of a mess, but it's out. And I think the biggest thing with that is it doesn't show you, like, obviously the preparation per camp, but it shows you my...
All right, I'm gonna skip out on the rest of this. I'm gonna jump over to Kelvin Gastelum. The interview wasn't that. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't that entertaining.
For an adventure?
Always.
Yes.
Obviously, we just spoke to you when you were supposed to fight in Mexico. You even weighed in, you did the face-offs and everything, and then the rug got pulled out from you. It's not every day they rebooked the fight relatively soon. So I guess after you got past the first bit of annoyance that you didn't get to fight in Mexico, were you happy that they rebooked the Joe Pyfer fight?
Yeah, they wanted me to fight Joe Pyfer. I didn't want it to be relatively. I mean, they had asked me if I wanted to go the next weekend. I said, nah, I just think that would give him an advantage. At a higher weight class, the next weekend, not an elevation, it would just give him the advantage. And we settled on June 7th here in New Jersey. And, I'm a company man, so I kind of do what I'm told. And they wanted Joe Pyfer, and we rebooked him.
Seems to be relatively respectful between you two. He said, he hasn't heard you say anything negative about him, and he would have understood if you were angry that the fight got moved. But a lot was made about his comments after, calling Mexico a shithole. He didn't want to go back there anymore. So I guess, do you take that personally, given you are, Mexican-American, or is this just, business and Joe Pyfer is up next?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it did leave a little bit of sour taste in my mouth. I just think the way he went about it was a little rude. He shouldn't say those things about other people's countries, and I just think he should
say whatever the fuck he wants. Who
better
cares?
about the way he went about it. I don't think those comments were right.
And outside of the talk about this, but having to get to the finish line and then, like I said, pulled out at the last minute, has this just felt like one long camp in preparation for Joe Pyfer?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've been prepared. I've known since I think October, even November, we've been prepping, looking into fighting Joe Pyfer. So it's been it's taken up a lot of my time.
So since Mexico to now, has it just been like how much more prep can you do for him at this point? Because he hasn't fought since then. You haven't fought since then. Is it just staying healthy, maintaining weight, and then hopefully he shows up on Saturday?
Exactly. We took a little time off, just a week off. Went to Disneyland to kind of reset the mind, reset the body, and then we went right back to work and slowly ramped it back up. And I think we did it right. I think I'm peaking just right again, and. We only built off of the last camp, so everything is just that much better, I think.
Just last one for me, unrelated to your fights. It's not every day we get to speak, so I'm going into the Hall of Fame at the end of the month. So I guess, what's it been like for you since they announced that? And just a couple weeks away, you and Izzy might just be up on the stage again accepting this Hall.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I haven't. I mean, yeah, I know it's happening, but I don't think it's really hit me yet. I think it'll hit me once I'm there. Getting the jacket, getting the trophy, or whatever it is, and I'll see then. Would probably be bawling my eyes out. Who knows? But it'll be cool.
So you haven't thought of being introduced as UFC Hall of Famer Kelvin Gastelum yet?
Not really, no.
Kelvin right here. I saw the other day.
Say, he's probably going to be a Hall of Famer no matter what because he's the youngest person ever went else to fight her. I think.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, okay. So
much needed
who did
haircut.
you find and how did that go down?
My man Beto from New Brunswick. I appreciate it, brother. He hooked me up, hit me up on Instagram, and had him come last night. He hooked it up.
Oh, yeah. Looking fresh before the fight. So I saw you brought an elite grappler and Pat Downey into your camp for this fight. Santino had a lot of great things to say about him and just the way he kind of meshed with your style and what you already know. Can you just add on to that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was great to bring in a guy like Pat Downey down to my camp. I mean, everybody gets better just being around him. And the knowledge that he's constantly giving out is world class. So everybody loves having him out. I mean, his style of wrestling and jiu-jitsu meshed with my style just almost perfectly. Like he's just like grappling-wise, he's just like a much better version, a much cleaner version of what I do. So he's just telling me how to clean up techniques, and it's just amazing how much growth I've had just being around him.
Kelvin over here. You're someone who's tried moving down back to 170 pounds. Your former opponent, Chris Curtis, is doing the same thing at UFC Nashville. What advice do you have for him getting back all the way down to 170?
I don't have no advice for Chris Curtis.
I got you. And you're someone who always goes to war in the cage. You represent the throwback fighter who would fight anybody. Why do we have less fighters like you nowadays?
Say that one more time.
You're a throwback fighter. You're someone who goes to war in the cage. You'll fight anybody. Why do you think there's less people like you nowadays?
I didn't even know that's a term, a throwback fighter. I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is.
All good. That was a compliment. And one last one.
I appreciate it.
You'll understand this one. You spent a lot of time with Henry Cejudo. What's the most important thing you've learned from him?
Just kind of how to approach your training and how to build a team around you, like a NASCAR team. You build a team around you rather than training at a team. He was the guy that influenced me to move out to Arizona, so I'm there now. I'm surrounded by amazing people, and I'm loving it.
Kelvin, right over here. When you think about the legacy that you plan to leave behind and however many years from now, how much more happier? How excited are you about the fact that now you get to say, you know, I'm a Hall of Famer? That's something I accomplished throughout my career.
I think it was just a result of everything that I've done and the fights and wars that I've had. But the ultimate thing is I want people to remember me as the world champion, which hasn't happened yet, and it's still on my mind.
And last for me, not sure if it matters as much to you, but obviously the fight was originally scheduled for Mexico City. Do you think this fight would have been better to take place out there on Mexican soil, or are you just happy to get it in general and happy that it's here in the U.S. nonetheless?
Well, now I feel that way. I'm happy that it's here, finally happening. But you know, obviously we were ready for Mexico City. I mean, I spent the whole month out there, brought a whole camp out there. I mean, it was so much time and investment, financially, and then just it was a hard, grueling camp. So.
If your neck looks like this, you need to watch this video. When you sit at
Hey,
your
that's
desk
me.
or use your phone, your head protrudes forward. And for
You know, we were planning
That's
to
why I'm
use
leaning
the
back right now.
elevation as part of a weapon. So it was unfortunate that it didn't happen there.
Thank you.
Just one question from me. Back to the hair over here to your left.
Yes.
A few years ago, Chad Ochocinco suggested that you get a sponsorship from Head and Shoulders. Did you ever get that?
I did not, but I'd welcome it. You know, this is the product that I use.
All right, thank you.
Here, Kelvin, just one more for me, actually, real quick. So you spent a month down in Mexico City and then didn't end up actually getting to fight. And then I saw you went and took a trip to Disney right after. Was the trip to Disney a bit more of a nicer vacation, I guess you could say?
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of a reset, you know, after a hard, grueling camp. Like, the last thing I want to do is think about
You're a
fighting.
fucking idiot.
So,
He already answered the stupid question.
Went out there with my girlfriend, and we had a good time.
Kelvin, what would you say to people that follow you in Mexico and could not see you fighting in UFC Mexico City? What do you say they will expect in this Saturday? Maybe if you want to answer in English and Spanish, it will be fine for me too.
A ver, pregúntame en español.
¿Qué mensaje le das a la gente que te sigue en México que no pudo ver tu pelea en UFC Ciudad de México? O sea, un mensaje que ¿qué van a esperar de ti esta pelea? Porque se quedaron pues con la expectativa de verte pelear allá.
Claro que voy ahí a levantar la bandera mexicana en alta porque pues no se pudo hacer. Mucha gente me comentó, me mandó mensajes que fueron a verme y que no pudieron. Obviamente se canceló última hora, pero les tengo esta sorpresa este sábado. Ojalá les guste la pelea, estoy listo y ojalá les guste el espectáculo.
Y tengo una más. Sé que también estuviste en contacto porque haces entrenamiento en el PI Ciudad de México con los hermanos Luna. Cuando compartiste el podcast con ellos, ¿qué impresión te dieron?
Buenísimos muchachos, tienen un gran futuro. Me cayeron muy bien y yo creo que pues enseñaron una disciplina muy buena y pues yo creo que van a verlos muy pronto entre del UFC o en Dana White's Contender Series. Yo creo que van a entrar pronto.
Sí, justamente sabemos que ellos están a la espera de esto. ¿Cuánto tú crees? ¿Tú crees que será este año o quizás el próximo?
Tal vez este año, ¿no? Los veo con muy buen nivel. Todos los muchachos y las muchachas allá entrenando en el PI allá en México escogieron un buen bonche de muchachos porque todos, la mayoría los veo con un muy buen futuro.
Muchas gracias,
All right,
Kelvin.
Skip.
De cara a
La verdad es que no me gustó nada.
Skip.
O sea, y
Skip.
él durante toda la
Skip.
sabiendo que eres un peleador.
trata de buscar
Skip.
no a
Skip.
la mayor.
All right.
Esto es
Game over for that one. I don't know Spanish, so I'm not being racist. I just don't know Spanish. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look to.
When you shop in the Vons app.
Kevin Holland's a
What's
little
going
bit,
on, everybody?
No, Kevin Holland's a little bit more entertaining, so I'm gonna find his. And well, actually, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'll do the girls. I'll do Juliana and Kayla, and then I'll probably do Marab's is a little long. Damn. 20 minutes. Dang, Kayla's 20 minutes too. Okay, so I'll do the girls, and then I'll do Marab, and then I'll do and then I'll do Sugar.
What up, gang?
Kayla, what's the significance to your? What would it mean to you to be an Olympic gold medal? I mean, obviously you've won other UFC titles. I mean, other MMA titles before. But what would it mean to be the gold medalist and a UFC?
You mean be an Olympic gold medalist, a MMA two-time MMA champ, and a UFC champ? What would it mean? Woo. I mean, it's a testament, I think, to my character, my grit, my determination. I'm very happy with my career. I have climbed a lot of mountains. I have done more than most will ever do, and I'm very satisfied with it. But this belt is for me.
Can winning a belt compare to an Olympic gold, no matter what?
We're gonna find out on Saturday night. We'll see. We'll see. I'm sure it's gonna feel.
No offense to
very
Kayla,
similar.
but she looks old as fuck.
Kayla,
I mean, I do
over
too, but shit.
outside. Obviously, you're used to people talking before, but I feel like every interview I've seen you do, it's always, let me read some quotes that Juliana said about you. So has this been more of an annoying build-up? Because it's never about the fight. It's always about what Juliana's been saying.
No, I mean, I think that's part of the business, and Juliana doesn't excel at fighting, so she has to excel at the other piece of it. And it's not personal to me, she's just doing her job.
Was that a hard part to, like, when you first got into MMA? Because, like, in the Olympics, it's a tournament. Like, no matter how much you talk.
Yeah, and not only that, it's like a Japanese sport, so it's like the most respectful sport in the Olympics.
So you say it's not personal, but it seems like the fans are very much behind you. Have you kind of felt that?
I have, and I'm so grateful for it. I feel like Juliana is the perfect villain to, I guess, make me a hero in people's eyes. I think before everyone's like, oh, I don't know if it's my dominance. I don't know if it's because I am so, like, physically strong looking, but I feel like or maybe because I haven't been in the UFC for very long, but I feel like a lot of people weren't too keen on me, and now all of a sudden it's like I'm America's sweetheart, and I'm just gonna take it and run with it.
And, you kind of said it, like, Julia's not good at fighting, so she has to sell a fight. And we've heard that before, but yet she keeps winning. So I guess, what is it about Juliana's style that gives people problems?
I mean, I think she's got heart, She's a fighter. And at the end of the day, that's probably one of the most important qualities you can have is that heart and that grit. She's unorthodox. You don't really know what is coming. I think it's probably a tough style to emulate in training. She's unorthodox. And I think that she has this, like, I just believe I'm better everywhere. I think that I'm bigger, faster, stronger. I think that I've got more positive experience. I think that my grappling's better, my striking's better. I think that my fight IQ is higher. And, like, never mind being inside of a cage. Like, I'm a fighter in life. And so if she thinks that she's going to, like, outfight me, she's got another thing coming.
Well, the countdown, they did the part where she brought in Max Snyder to train with her. Is that just the countdown kind of like latching on to something, or is that something that, smart thing she's training with him?
I mean, do you think that you could learn to paint like Picasso in 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 12 weeks?
No.
Do you think that you could be Scorsese in 12? Like, good luck. I applaud her for leaving no stone unturned, but I've been doing judo since I was 6 years old. Like, that's not something you can
at 6
pick
years
up
of
overnight.
age.
The countdown also, I think, like, we've been covering you for a long
Judo
time.
chump.
Your story with your kids and your sister and your mom.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe there's, like we talked, some people only watch the UFC. They didn't know your story. So when that came out, have you seen, how's the reception been to that for people that didn't know what you actually went through?
It's been super positive. It's been like overwhelmingly positive and heartfelt, and yeah, I think that a lot of people didn't know that I adopted my niece and nephew and the reasoning behind it.
Oh, I
and
forgot
so
about
I just want to make sure that like everyone knows like I adopted them. Like they're my children. I'm not a guardian. I'm not like a part-time parent. I'm not I'm not gonna give them like they are I'm on the birth certificate now. Like these are my kids. We're the wolf pack, and they ain't ever getting rid of me.
And just last one for me, unrelated to your fight, because I think you're one of the few that could probably answer this. But LeBron James just did a podcast, and he was talking about
James
starting kids in a sport, and that's all they do from like 5 on, will lead to burnout real quick, and kids will constantly quit. You know, you brought up you've been doing judo since you were 6, so I guess, and now that as a mother with young kids, just how realistic is that? Is what he's
No, I think he's spot on. I mean, in our society today, you look at like, I mean, I really blame the parents. We have all of these helicopter like psycho parents who think that their kid's going to be the next Tiger Woods or the next Simone Biles or the next LeBron James, and so they make them go to gymnastics practice every day, or the next Serena, you know, like tennis. And like when we were kids, yeah, I did judo and I specialized at I mean, I'm sure there are outliers, but we didn't play organized sports. We just played outside. Like, hey, you want to go play basketball with your friends? Hey, like we're gonna go play.
At Spectrum, we believe every day unlocks unlimited possibilities. Spectrum transforms your gaming experience into a
like jump on the trampoline or play a pickup game of flag football or like whatever it is. No, I'm super against specializing for kids. I mean, even like up to high school, I would like argue like play everything. It's better for your body. It's better for your mind, better for your family dynamics.
That's what LeBron was saying. He played football and ran track just to stop thinking about basketball.
Yeah. I mean, you can't like, their brain is literally still developing. Are we going to put this kind of pressure on a child to be? And yeah, don't get me started. My daughter played softball this year, and like, this is her first time playing. So obviously she's not great. Like and the parents, I was like, I'm gonna end up getting in a fist fight at a softball game. Like I gotta take a lap and cool off.
Over here. Kayla, if you win this fight, there's talk you could face. When you win this fight, there's talk you could face Amanda Nunes. How do you feel about potentially fighting someone you used to train with?
Yeah, you know, my focus is on Saturday night, you know, one step at a time. Everybody's tough until you beat them, so I'm focused on Juliana. But in judo, it's very different culture and mentality. Like you end up competing against the same girls over and over and over and over again, and you go to a tournament, and then you have a 3-day training camp with all of the girls you just competed with, and then you go to another tournament and you have a training camp. Like, so I used to fight my friends or compete against my friends all the time, and it's not personal, it's just business.
Yeah. Juliana's actually been very confident in her pre-fight talk. Do you think that's genuine self-belief, or is she just trying to get in your head?
I mean, I think she's got to do what she's got to do to pump herself up for this fight, you know? Like, she's throwing a lot of spaghetti at the wall. She's all over the place, so God bless her.
Thank you.
Kayla right here. You were a finalist for the Team USA 2025 Hall of Fame class. Despite not getting in, how much of an honor is it to just be up there with some of the greatest athletes in the world?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I feel like I am God gave me these talents, right, and these gifts, and to give anything less than my best is to sacrifice the gift. So for me, it's an honor and it's a privilege, and to see the fruits of my labor being showcased is great, but it all comes from God, so.
You said that growing up, you were always craving recognition and approval from other people. What finally changed in your life that really led you down the path you're on now? Is it finding God?
I mean, definitely my faith. I'm sure that most of you know I had a very
I'm gonna do about 2 more questions from Kayla, and then
troubled
I will
childhood. I was
go
sexually
to,
abused by my first coach, and so
Juliana.
I spent a lot of time feeling unworthy, and my biological father was also not present in my life, and so yeah, I didn't have this belief that I was loved unconditionally, and my faith absolutely in God, and that there is, you know, someone who's for me, not against me, has been huge. And also God sending me my kids, you know, like they have taught me that there's so much more to life than gold medals and trophies, and like all of that stuff sits in my, you know, everyone always like, oh, where's your Olympic gold medals? I'm like, they're in my sock drawer collecting dust. Like nobody cares. My kids sure as shit don't care. Like they care that I come home. They care that I'm mom. They care that I play, you know, Nerf gun wars with them, or that I've let them have ice cream. Like that's what it's all about. And so that has given me a new peace and a new understanding and a new freedom, which makes me honestly a better fighter.
Yeah, shout out to all the single moms out there.
That's right. Shout out to the single moms. Let's go.
Kayla, right over here. I remember last fight week in Salt Lake City, Juliana was speaking about the way that Raquel would have actually represented this division, and being the fact that you're the challenger this week, what do you feel, or how do you feel about the way that Juliana represents this division?
I feel nothing. I focus on myself. I focus on how I carry myself, what I can do. I try not to throw stones from a glass house. And nobody's perfect. We're all doing the best we can, but there's going to be a new face of women's MMA very soon.
And speaking about the trash talk, I know we've been talking about that kind of all day now, but for you, there was a lot of trash talk that you had to get through to get to the actual fight. Do you think this may have been the most trash talk you ever had to deal with, and how did it kind of affect you throughout the past couple weeks or months?
This is the premium Garmin Duffel 45 liter by Half Day. It's a transforming 2-in-1 travel duffel bag for long.
I mean, I think hands down, this is the most trash talk. I mean, I don't need, like, the talk itself is trashy. I don't know if it's good trash talk, but it's trashy. This is the most I've ever had to endure. Yeah. It's the worst trash talk I've ever had to endure, too. I'll tell you what. Like, if you, being a female, being in a male-dominant sport, like going to American Top Team, you think I don't hear shit all day, every day? I walk into the gym and they're starting to, so like but this is just poorly done, and I'm ready to fight. I'm done talking about it. I'm ready to fight.
And last for me, I'm not sure how much this really matters to you, but when you get the job done on Saturday night, that would be 3 fights into your UFC career before you become, or when you become UFC champion. How does that sit with you? Because that's pretty remarkable itself.
Yeah, it sits pretty damn good, you know? I think...
Well, it has to sit good when there's no fucking contenders.
It's 3 fights in the UFC, but this is a lifetime in the making. You know, I've been on the mat since I was 6 years old. I have been doing 2-a-days since I was 12 years old. Like, that's 20-some years of training twice a day, every day, with the pursuit and the goal of being the best possible version of myself in mind. So it might only be 3 fights in the UFC, but this has been a lifelong journey, and I'm really excited.
All right. I'm going to cut it there, and then I'll go to Juliana's, see what she's got to say.
Obviously, it's been a bit since we last saw you compete in the octagon. So I guess just how's life been having that belt back and both in and out of the octagon?
Everyone watches women's sports. That is balls.
Everything is
Stupid
great. I
shirt.
feel good. I feel full of energy. I should be illegal to feel this good. I'm really looking forward to Saturday night. Camp was amazing, and we are firing on all cylinders.
You know, it feels like the main event, obviously, Sean and Merab is a fight that everyone, you know, they're excited for. But it feels like this co-main event has been what has been building this card. Especially, you know, whenever you and Kayla are on screens together, it kind of just generates conversation and clicks. So have you
I would
felt
agree to
like
that.
You specifically
I don't really think
have been
anybody gives a
carrying the
fuck about
promotion
the
for this
O'Malley
fight card?
Merab
And
fight.
do you feel that your fight is kind
People
of
were it's
taking
gonna
some
be
of
the
the
same fight.
spotlight away from the main event?
Including myself.
No, I
There's always an
believe
excuse.
that when you work so hard, and I've been fighting for the promotion since 2013, when you work so hard to get to climb the mountain to UFC gold, and you're finally at the top of the heap, this is what comes with that territory. I have an opportunity, I have an obligation as a UFC champion to promote my fight and to get people interested in watching me fight. And these are the opportunities that I was fighting so hard for. So for me, it's something that comes very naturally for me because this is what I've been building towards in my career my entire life.
You know, obviously a lot of people consider Amanda the greatest female fighter ever, but maybe she didn't do a lot of promotion. She didn't, you know.
Come on, we have places to go. And kingdoms to
Talk the talk, as some would say. So given that you have a dance partner that does want to talk back to as some extent and her accolades,
I gotta get
and
an Ethernet
interest she
cord.
brings, do you feel like this is one of the more talked about?
Because I'm looking at the streaming. God damn, it looks like
UFC?
ass.
Well, it's just good when you have somebody that can string a sentence together, that can speak the language, and that, you know, is willing to banter back and forth with you. And so it's refreshing. It's refreshing.
And obviously, even when she was in PFL, people have been asking for Kayla to, you know, come to the UFC and fight for the title right away. A lot of people thought it'd maybe be Amanda. Some thought it would be you, but it is you. You're the one that gets to challenge Kayla Harrison in her first 5-round fight in the UFC. So I guess what do you make of her as an opponent, and I guess just the interest from the fans and wanting to see her fight for the title for so long?
I think that the UFC is the greatest promotion that there ever was, and they do a really good job of creating the best fights possible and making sure that the fans get what they want. And this was a fight that the fans wanted, and it was the biggest fight in the division. And it makes a lot of sense that even though she only had 2 fights in the UFC, that she was able to come in and get a title shot based off of her being the 2-time champion and the accolades that she possesses. So it makes sense, and I'm, you know, obviously happy once I found out that it was not going to be Amanda after my win against Raquel. I moved on to the next greatest thing since sliced bread, and that was Kayla Harrison. So I welcomed the challenge.
What was it like working with Max Snyder to prepare for Kayla?
It was awesome. Max is a Chicago native. He grew up all his life in Chicago, and so for him to be able to come back to his roots, I think that it was great for him to be able to come back and to represent the people in the city of Chicago. So I know that that was one of his main goals. And then also, you know, when it comes to being able to say that you made it, you know, he's coaching against somebody that, you know, he had previously worked with, but against a team that, you know, was back then, you know, something that was like this big, huge thing for him as a younger gentleman. And so for him now to be able to, you know, coach against them, I know that it's a nice nod for himself to be like, I made it, man. And so I know that it's a really special time for him as well.
And then just last one for me, Kayla said the only chance that you had to win is to turn this into a brawl. So I guess, how do you see this fight actually playing out on Saturday?
Well, if she said it's going to be a brawl, then I guess I'll give her what she wants. No, I see the fight playing out with me getting my hand raised. I don't know how, I don't know when. I just know that I am very dangerous everywhere. I have multiple avenues to win this fight. I can win off of my back, I can win off of the cage, and I can win off of my feet. And having
about
multiple
Juliana, too.
avenues and
She's
multiple
really
paths
good
to
at
victory
bringing
is what makes me more dangerous. Whereas
better
she
fighters
has
down
only
to
one
her
shot to
level.
beat me, which is
She
laying
did
on
that
top
with
of me for
Nunez in
25
the first
minutes.
fight. No, obviously not the second
Juliana
fight.
over here,
but
you know, you just mentioned that you
she's scrappy,
like having an
and
opponent
that's
that
her
banters with
superpower.
you a little bit. She was in here a few minutes ago, and she said that she was pretty unbothered by your trash talk, that you were just throwing spaghetti against the wall, and that you had to overcompensate for your fighting skills with mic skills. Do you think this is having an effect on her at all, or do you think that her being like an Olympic-level athlete with her mentality, like that it's not having an effect on her like some of your other opponents?
I am not trash talking. I'm simply defending myself. This all started before I even knew who Kayla Harrison was. When I beat Amanda Nunes, I saw this blonde girl sitting cage side, freaking out, cussing and having all sorts of obscenities to say about me for beating Amanda Nunes and throwing a gigantic wrench in her plans. So she's been trash talking me for a long time, long before I even knew who she was. And then it created more of a problem for me when she said that it was going to be the media's fault. It was going to be the media's fault for having blood. They were going to have blood on their hands for you guys giving me the delusion to think that I could hang with her and stand across the octagon from her. Then her agent had made a comment that she was going to win by murder and that she was going to catch some murder charges because she was going to murder me. These are the things, me talking back, is my way of defending myself. And I believe that, you know, she can say that it's trash talk, but it's like I'm just responding to the things and the allegations and these horrendous comments that she has made about me. She needs to take accountability for the things that she said, and it's my job to make her do that on Saturday night.
Juliana, over here, you're a two-time champ. You know how to bounce back. What advice did you give your teammate Bilal Muhammad after his loss at UFC 315?
I didn't think Bilal lost. I watched that fight and I was like, yeah, we got it. And he won. And then when they called it for the other guy, you know, kudos to him. But I thought that Bilal won. So I didn't really give him any pep talk except for the fact that, I'm sorry, my brother, you got robbed. So.
And on another note, one of the cool things you've done in your life is give a speech at your daughter's pep rally after winning the title again. How special is it to inspire people that young and have a belt for you and one for your daughter as well?
I think the most special thing about that in general is the fact that I'm the first woman to give birth and win a world title. I'm the only woman to give birth and win a world title. I'm the only woman to give birth and win a title a second time after losing the belt and coming back and being able to get that gold a second time. So there's no other woman that can say that, and I can say that. And I think that being able to inspire my daughter, inspire a little boy or a little girl to pick up martial arts, doesn't have to be fighting, but anything, taekwondo, judo, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, boxing, whatever it may be. If I can inspire that next generation and get more eyes on the sport and get them to want to be able to believe that they can achieve anything that they want, then I've done my job as a champion.
Clear car crevice dust in 3 minutes. Sweep away leaves on the lawn in 5 minutes. And clean metal debris in...
Juliana, right here. You got invited out to the New York Giants practice yesterday, even got your own jersey. As a massive Giants fan, I have to ask, how was that experience and how did that all come together?
That was an incredible experience, one that I'll never forget. I am so grateful to the New York Giants. I am a massive football fan. Alex Spanos is a head strength and conditioning trainer at the Northwestern facility for the Wildcats, and I train there, you know, several days a week, going out to Evanston to get my strength and conditioning with the football team. And so to be able to go on with the New York Giants, of course, Russell Wilson was a long-time staple of the Seattle Seahawks, and I'm born and raised in Washington, so I was super stoked to meet him. Jameis Winston and I are both sponsored by Guaranteed Rate, and so we're in the same family there with the same sponsor. So to meet these guys and to get to see their practice and to see how excited they were, I know that I'm looking at them the same way that they're looking at me, and that's in awe of what they do. I am one single fighter, but watching them out there together, it felt like, you know, 200 fighters all on one field, and you know they have to fight for every inch and every yard, and I know that they know what it takes in order to get locked inside that octagon, because they got to put it all out on the field, you know, when they're in season and when they're practicing. So, you know, fighting is very brutal. Football is also very brutal. You know, two trains coming head to head on a train collision is not easy to do. And you know, much like fighting, it's very similar in that sense where you're having to fight for every inch. And so I love NFL football. I love football in general, or excuse me, all sports. So to be able to go out there, it was a very special time and an unforgettable experience.
Is Jameis Winston as funny as he seems in person?
Yeah, he really is. He was hilarious. He had me cracking up. He's very funny.
All right, and last one from me. Your former opponent, Valentina Shevchenko, had a lot of nice things to say about you in the lead up to this fight, and feels like you have everything you need to win this fight. How is it to get such high praise from a former opponent and one of the best female fighters of all time? And could you see yourself fighting her again?
That respect goes both ways. It's mutual. When everybody asks me who my favorite female fighter is, I always say Valentina Shevchenko. I am in awe. I'm enamored with her fighting style. I'm in awe of her as a fighter. I think that she is awesome. She can speak like 20 different languages. She can dance like nobody's business. She can fight her ass off. Like I'm a fan, and to hear her say that was very nice.
Here, Juliana over here. Juliana, you've been really vocal about your confidence going into this fight. What gives you that strong belief that you're going to come up on top?
Well, the last time you guys counted me out, you guys had to take it up the you-know-what. So I think that's one of the things. And I think that the preparation, and I've been doing this for a long time. I've been fighting since 2008. And when you put that much blood, sweat, and tears into something, and you're that dedicated and that passionate, there's only good things that can happen. And I think that that's what gives me the confidence.
Yeah. Also, Kayla just said you don't excel in fighting, but also said this isn't personal. Do you believe it's personal?
I'm getting locked into a steel cage and getting in a fist fight with some girl that's trying to take my head off of my shoulders. It's absolutely personal.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna call it there for Juliana's interview. I will go to Marabs, or no, I'm gonna go to Kevin Holland's. Why is his so hard to find? You got him out in the shadow room or something like that, though. Let's see. Kevin Holland Media Day. Here we go.
So today's the day. I've got my RTA mock system and Coyote appliances.
Over here. Obviously, we saw you just recently in March over in London, welterweight fight. You said, you didn't really know if you're going to do middleweight, welterweight. If you were going to go to welterweight, probably needed a bit of time to cut down. So I just how's life been? How's camp been? How's preparation been for Vicente at welterweight?
Things were good. I thought I was going to fight once and then didn't fight that fight. So I just kind of stayed in the swing of things. I had this Grand Slam I was going to hit for the turkeys. I couldn't hit my Grand Slam for the turkeys, so I only got to kill like one turkey. So it's been a shit show, but it's cool.
So it was good, but also a shit show, is what?
Yeah, I mean it was chill. I didn't get all my side quests done, so that's kind of fucked up.
What was the fight that you almost got that you had to?
I had the Peratas fight, but then Gary's popular ass came and took it. So fuck.
Was that an annoying, like maybe even mentally, kind of like you thought you had the fight and then all of a sudden you didn't have the fight?
Nah, I'm used to it. That's been my whole career. They say, Kev, we need you. I'm there. We don't need you no more. See you next week. So just used to it.
Well, they came to you with Vicente, and I feel like when they announced this, I think fans were surprised that you'd never been matched up before, and I just were kind of excited that the fight's finally happening now. So what do you make of Vicente as an opponent?
Yeah, I wanted Vicente Luque the last time I came down to 70. Was trying to go for a little run, so it was always a name that I liked. So when he finally called my name, I was like, shit, about fucking time. So here we are.
Well, it seems like, two well-rounded fighters that have finishes both on the feet and on the ground. So I guess what type of fight are you expecting from Vicente?
Hopefully he can tap into his old self, and it's like and show up. It's like he usually takes punishment very well and then delivers punishment right back. So I'm a little longer than some of the guys he's faced before. I know that he's fought some tall guys, but he's never fought a long guy like me. So it's like I expected to go my way 100%. Had this been a few years ago, then I'd probably tell you it'd be a true barn burner. But I'm gonna say a barn burner so the fans will be happy. But 100% my way.
So when you say you hope the old Vicente comes out, is that because like the last few fights, maybe like especially like the Buckley fight, I think people kind of talked to, he didn't look like the Vicente of old in there.
It was something else too. But it wasn't just the Buckley fight. It's just certain little things that Luque does, and I've seen a couple interviews where he said a few things. It's just. He doesn't even believe he takes punishment as well as he used to. So it's like when a guy's known for taking punishment and then delivering punishment, it's kind of sad to see that start to fade away,
So like you said, like 3 years ago or 3-4 years ago, probably a barn burner. So do you envision that this fight kind of ends inside the three rounds?
Yeah, I don't think he has the durability that Nelson had. Once I caught him, he was able to, shake back. And that's just from having, some time sitting down and letting that chin rest and stuff like that. So, no, I plan on going out there, touching that thing early, and I don't think he gets back up.
How many fights do you think you get into this year, like by the end of the year?
So I thought you were going to ask me this weekend.
It is new.
By the end of the year, I think for sure I'll hit that. I think I'll for sure hit 5 to 6 fights before the year is over with. I mean, realistically, it's like we're already at 3, and it's like 2 more would be easy as hell. 3 more is really idealistically I could do, but that just means I'd have a really busy year, and that means next year probably wouldn't be as busy.
I mean, the Noche card just got moved to Texas.
The Noche card did just get moved to Texas, but until Texas figures out their legalization of marijuana, it's kind of hard for me to fight there. They don't want you to smoke a whole month out from the fight, and that's difficult, And it's like I still have a life to live, so I got to smoke my weed.
And then just last one for me, your reactions to the new champion at welterweight with Jack, a guy that you had history with.
Oh, yeah, I think it's amazing. I remember I said a while back between Duplessis and Bilal, which one was a better champ to watch, and I think that, of course, Homer Simpson over there. You know, freaking dude's fucking wild, but he's such a fun person to watch fight. Duplessis a better champ to watch than Bilal, so it was pretty cool to see Bilal lose the belt. I thought Bilal was going to lose the belt regardless. I've been said a long time ago when Islam was teaching him how to hold the belt that if it wasn't somebody else that take the belt from him, it'd be Islam. So I thought Islam was going to come up regardless and take it.
What did you make of that fight between Jack and Bilal? Because I think even fans were surprised at maybe just how exciting it was between those two.
I mean, Bilal's best win to me was Sean Brady. I was shocked that he ever beat Brady, but I've never thought the world of Bilal. You know, it's like he's a hard worker. He puts in the work, but I mean, camps boil down to who's going to put in the most work. And as long as you outwork Bilal during the camp, you could damn sure outwork him in the fight. So it's like that's all he really has is work ethic.
Kevin, right here. So I haven't seen you do any interviews in the lead up to this fight. Was that an intentional thing, and why exactly?
Yeah, ever since the Jackson podcast interview, I really don't just do none of that shit anymore. It's like they kind of killed it for everybody. And speaking of that, they still owe me a couple grand, and they always do a bad job of paying me on the first of the month. They always pay like around like the 10th or something like that. I don't know if they're having a money problem, but they need to do a better job paying me on time. So, future reference for all you guys that want to do interviews, I charge out the ass now. So, unless you're getting it this week, you ain't getting one.
Could we potentially see you bull riding soon and potentially maybe call out Cowboy Cerrone in a different sport?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be down to get on bulls. I think I was on a bull way before Cowboy Cerrone ever was on a bull. And it's like, there's no reason to call him out. It's like, he's not even that good at riding bulls now. So, it'd be a waste of time.
So, this is my last one, and I'm sorry I have to ask this. But you predicted that JDM would beat Bilal and that Islam would come up and beat him. Then Ilya would come up and fight him. My only question is, where does Kevin Lee fit into all this?
Oh, same place I've always been. Sitting at home, smoking weed, and collecting checks.
Kevin, right back here, piggybacking off of that PBR stuff. I saw you training an actual bull rider, Andrew Alvidrez, in the gym. What was it like having a guy from a different, I guess, combat sport, very dangerous sport in the gym with you, showing him that type of stuff?
He was a cool guy, really, really humble. It's crazy to know that these bull riders, you know, they go against an animal as vicious as a bull or as big as a bull, and they're still just very humble, calm, collected guys. So it was really cool working with him. And then I actually got to go to the PBR and see him ride. And he actually took first place in that part that he was in. So he won him some good money. So props to that guy. Congratulations to him. You know, I love the money.
Can you talk about a little bit about, you know, your love for bull riding? I see that you're, you know, a fan of the sport. I love the sport too. You know, what do you make of that sport?
I don't know if I'm a fan of bull riding, right? It's like my boy Cowboy used to ride bulls, and I'm always giving him hell, like, you know, I'm way worse than that bull. So it's not that I'm a fan of bull riding. My son's a big fan of bull riding, so that I guess that's where my passion comes in at. Whatever my son likes, I love. And I hope that he can do really, really good in bull riding. But no, that's for Cowboy, and my passion is just I enjoy the farm life, I enjoy the hunting life, and I just enjoy being outside.
100%, man. I actually work at Bass Pro back home in Connecticut. I had a young gentleman from Dallas in the other day. He wasn't a UFC fighter or a UFC fan, but, you know, I had to bring up the Trailblazer and ask, you know, if he knew about you. And like I said, he wasn't a UFC fan, but he still knew who you were. What does it mean to represent the Dallas-Fort Worth community like that and really just have that love, you know, from people who may not even know the sport of MMA?
It's great to have love in the DFW. It's great to have love. I mean, I feel like I represent Texas pretty well, not just the DFW, because I'm always in Houston as well. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm happy to live in Texas. Never going to take anything away from being a California boy, but I'm for sure a Texas man, you know?
100%. Thank you.
No problem.
Right, over here. You recently said on the Jackson podcast that you don't want to be a world champion. So if that's not your goal, what are you fighting for?
For money. I mean, what the hell else would I be fighting for? It's like everybody who fights for a world championship, that's great. But at the end of the day, they all got to pay bills. So if they tell you they're not fighting for money, they're a goddamn lie. And if they tell you they're not fighting for money, we'll tell them then go back to what they used to get on their first contract and see if they like that or if they hate that. So I'm always fighting for money.
All right, one other question. How is your current relationship with Rampage Jackson?
My current relationship with Rampage Jackson? Bro, Rampage Jackson's not in the UFC, is he?
No.
Get off his dick. Thank you.
Can't hold, give no fucks. All right. Let's see what a little bit of Marab has to say. And then we'll do Sean, and then I got to get out of here. Actually, let's go back here. Oh, now it pops up? Oh, okay, never mind. I like how I literally type in Kevin Holland Media Day, and the first thing that comes up is Vicente Luque. The fuck? They got that full shadow band for reals.
Good to see you.
All right, Marab, what you got?
Well, Marab, over here. Yes. Obviously, we just saw you in January, and since then, you've done a lot of media since then ahead of this fight. So I guess just how's life been and how's camp been since that win over Umar back in January?
Life's been very good. Like always, I'm just grateful for everything.
I'm probably going to skip around. He talks way too slow.
I mean, they ask me, and I don't. Important is, like, I guess Peter fighting somebody else, and then no one. I get much better. He said in his interview, even when my mom asked me what was wrong with you, I tell him nothing. I just lost the fight, and then the excuse starts a couple days later. But yeah, so I just wanna give him another chance, another. That's what the UFC wants, and then
Preparing for these title fights. Contender in 3 rounds to a finish in the octagon.
why the O'Malley is dangerous, and I recognize that. And I cannot relax any fight with him. Even if we fight 10 times, I have to still treat him as a dangerous guy.
We saw a video of you training with John Wood at Syndicate, and his phrase was he wants you to turn the fun into a finish. That's what he wants to see you doing there. So how does Marab do that? How do you turn the showboating and the fun into a finish in the octagon?
Yeah, so I think this time I will be more focused for finish and more focused for
He seems
damage.
tired.
Yeah, like my style, like my old style.
What are this weight cuts gonna
Last
get
day,
to him?
which is Thursday, they cut 10 pounds. But me, I split those 10 pounds to 2 days. But I don't eat and I don't drink last 2 days, and that's how I cut weights. So, and then if we test and if it works for me to. And how they do also, they sit in hot tub or they sit in a sauna blanket, or in sauna, and they cut 10 pounds there. But me, I split 10 pounds to 2 days, and I usually run or work out. That's how I cut last 10 pounds. So, and if we figure it out, then it will be this test weight cuts easy, and if it works for me and I'm gonna keep it, and I will be even more happier.
Rob, right here. You're on a 12-fight winning streak right now, and the only people in UFC history that have won 13 fights in a row or more are Anderson Silva, Islam Makhachev, Kamaru Usman, George St. Pierre, John Jones, Demetrius Johnson, Khabib Nurmagomedov, and Max Holloway. What would it mean to you to be in that very elite group?
Wow, this is big, and this is another motivation for me. But this is great. But I'm just gonna focus for my next fight, like I was before, and then we, God willing, win this fight, and lots of records, lots of. New history will made. This is good, I mean, means a lot, just to mention my names with these guys. I'm grateful.
Yeah, and I know you said you're kind of maybe going to be willing to take some more risks in this fight compared to the last one because you felt it was easy against Sean. Someone might say it took you so long to get to the belt and so much work, right? Why would you take any additional risks? Because while Sean got the immediate rematch here against you, people wonder if maybe you would get that same opportunity if you were in that spot.
One more time, please.
Why would you take as many risks in this fight or more risks than you need to when it took you so long to get to the belt? And if it doesn't go your way, you might not get the immediate rematch like Sean O'Malley did.
Yeah, I understand, but no problem. I don't mind to give him this fight back or chance, take a risk. I'm a fighter. Every fight is risk, and life is risk, and you gotta. That's good for me. I mean, even if, everything can happen in the fight. I may lose if they don't give me much. I don't give a shit. I just wanna fight, and I just wanna be busy. And but work we put in and shape I am. I believe I can beat this guy again one more time, and I'm looking for beat him even dominate ways. And so actually the how dangerous he is, it excites me more.
Merab over here. You know, your best friend Aljamain Sterling is here. Do you get more nervous when you fight or when he fights?
At Spectrum, we know life moves
stupid ads, I
fast.
knew it was
Keep
coming.
up with the speed, reliability, and security of Spectrum.
It's always like
It looks like you're learning a lot of good style from Aljamain Sterling. You got the green suit on. You got any sponsors you want to shout out?
Sahegan, especially we never.
Do a lot of risky things in your personal life. How do you?
Most injuries I get in, like, it was between me and Aljo, and
Still talking about Aljamain Sterling, bro. Jesus.
Yes, like he said, he should be 70% better because he quit last. Did my best in training camp. Now,
Yeah,
like I
boring
said,
ass
I
interview.
mentioned before,
All right, let's see what Sean has to say.
What's up, guys?
I'm sure there's a lot of things going on emotionally
no
heading
colored
into this
hair.
fight, but I'm curious for you, what is the most important thing here? Getting the title back or beating Merab and proving you can beat him?
Beating Merab, 100%. Like, I wanted the, even if Merab would have lost to Umar, like, part of me just wanted the Merab fight back. So, the Merab for sure.
Is part of that because you feel like you came pretty close to actually beating him first time round, and it's just a couple of little adjustments that'll make the difference?
No, it's just losing. Like, after the first Cheeto fight, like, I wanted that fight back so bad, but I was like, I knew I'd get it back eventually. It had to make sense, timing. This one's the same thing. It's just like, I just got to get that one back.
It's funny, I feel like the narrative's somewhat changing about your first fight. After the first fight, everyone's like, oh, Merab washed him, you know, it was an easy win for Merab. But now people are going back and rewatching it and realizing it was a little closer, especially that fifth round. What do you feel about that first fight, and what do you think people were missing in the moment to not realize it was actually that close?
Yeah, I think the second and fourth round were so dominant for him. It just kind of took over the whole fight, which I totally get. Like, I analyze my fights more than anybody, so after I rewatched it, I was like, well, that was a lot closer than people thought. But it doesn't matter if it's close, if you lose. So yeah, I'm planning on this one not being so close.
You talked about the changes you've made in your personal life, lack of social media and all that stuff. How do you feel that will actually play into the performance on Saturday, if at all?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But I feel just overall and a lot. And I never felt like I was in a bad place or sad place or dark place. I always felt pretty good. But I always felt like I could feel better, So I think whether it helps the performance or not, like, I feel better. So that's all that matters.
Physically, I think there was like a video going around of you on crutches a while back there and stuff like that. How much better do you feel for this fight than you were at the first time around with Merab?
You say crotch?
Crutches.
Oh, crutch. Like, there's a video going on my crotch. That's not good. Crutches for no, it's yeah, I feel a lot better this fight. This whole camp's been a lot better.
Nice. Is your father in your corner for this fight?
Yeah. Dad's in the corner. His 60th birthday. That'd probably be the coolest gift I could give him. So he's pumped.
Does that just make it all a little bit extra special? Just have him there, or?
It does. It'll be cool. He gets nervous before the fight, so it'll be kind of, for me, it'll be kind of funny to watch him in the back, and because all the boys, all the corner, like, we've been through this so many times. Like, we're very calm in the back. It's just, another Saturday night for us, but for him, it'll be funny to watch him pretend to be calm. He'll just be like,
best of luck.
Sean over here. Outside of all the changes you said you've made to your life, but you had a new son, you saw your daughter get her first stripe, you're building a house. So I guess just outside of the stuff that people have been asking you about, just how's life been in general since that first fight?
been good. Nothing to complain about. Had a healthy baby boy a couple weeks ago. Hey, that's just like all this stuff is fun, and I get to do this. Like, this is all good, but it's like that Sunday rolls around. It's like back to being dad, back to the family. So that's all this provides to be able to live the life we get to live, and I'm super grateful for it. But yeah, it's puts it in perspective what life's all about.
That line you said you were too attached to that sugar character that was on the countdown. Is that why you didn't dye the hair or anything for this fight, or you just didn't want to sit down for it?
I just didn't want to sit down for it. I love the pink hair. It's fun, but it's a process, and I was just kind of. I thought bringing back the OG hair would be pretty cool too. I think last time I had this was Jose Quinones. The first time I did my hair was June 6, 2020, so almost 5 years ago to the day, and yeah, so it was pretty crazy. I thought bringing back the OG hair was it was cool.
You know, Tim's done some interviews. He said, you know, the lighting was weird. Chael said that you were pulled in all these different directions and just all these distractions and everything. But in other interviews, you seem to kind of stop yourself when you could give excuses. You kind of stop yourself. You know, it's in the past. I just kind of want to. It is what it is. I think is what you say. So it feels like. What is that like? Like you could give excuses, but you just kind of stop yourself from kind of doing that.
Oh no, my hip was my excuse. I've been saying that. I had a torn labrum. It's like, you know, I walked into that cage confident. I was going to beat Merab. I don't regret walking into that cage. He beat me. It is what it is. My performance wasn't as, you know, I rewatched it. There was things I could have done better. But, you know, in the cage that night, I felt good. You know, I just didn't prepare the way I was supposed to because I wasn't able to. It wasn't because I was, you know, fucking around doing other things. I was still at a good camp, disciplined, weight was good, everything was good. Just wasn't able to do what you need to be able to do to fight someone like Merab.
And Javier Mendez gave an interview after Umar's loss. He said Merab just knows how to win by, like, whether it's showboating or just holding people against the fence and making it look like he's dominating when, you know, you said it's a lot closer than maybe people think. So how is that an accurate kind of description of how Merab wins? Like he just kind of knows how to squeak out these wins.
I mean, he's definitely a master at getting in positions and kind of doing enough to make it look like he's. I mean, the win streak he's on, you can't talk too much shit about it. He's crazy win streak, beating the best guys. He's winning. That's all that matters.
And then there was a video of you going on, I think it was on your YouTube channels. You were watching the rematch between Nate and Connor. Was that just a coincidence? Because even Connor seemed to pick up on it on Twitter.
I've been just watching a bunch of fights lately. I don't know. I've just been watching a bunch of fights.
And last one for me, Mario's welcoming Patchy Mix to the UFC. What do you make of that fight? And, you know, Patchy not only coming into the UFC, but, you know, facing against Mario.
Are you looking to sell your house but don't want to pay expensive real estate commissions and deal with all the hassles? Then look no further.
Yeah, Patchy adding to the bantamweight is sweet. Makes the bantamweight division even that much sweeter. Fighting Mario's tough. He's super tough. I know he got a lot of shit for that Jose Aldo fight, but he's on a tear. Mario is legit, very, very high level, very skilled. I'm excited for that fight.
Sean over here. Any chance you could move the water bottle out of the way? Thank you. Appreciate it. A lot of talk about these changes, obviously. Like, how much of that is tied into what you feel you need out of a result? Like, are you just happy that you've made positive things in your life and it's completely unrelated to whether you win or lose this fight?
What was your question? Sorry.
Just all like kind of the changes you made. Did you make those working towards a different result, or is all these things separate in terms of like the man you're trying to be and the fighter you're trying to be?
Like I said before, I've always felt like I'm a happy person, but I was like, my life is everything's so perfect. What I should be even a little bit. I should be more happy. Like, what can I take away to add to my happiness, to my peace? And it was just, you know, take away distractions, and that was for me as a person, not necessarily as an athlete, and want to be a better fighter. All that stuff will make me a better fighter, but it wasn't necessarily for that.
Gotcha. I was talking to Dominic Cruz about, you know, all that stuff going on. He said he feels this is going to give longevity to your career, probably more so than maybe other lifestyle choices would have. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. That, you know, I'm 30 right now. I feel like we haven't got to see me in my prime. This might be the first fight in my prime, but I want to stick around as long as possible, and longevity is on my mind, you know, every day.
Do you feel like you have to knock Merab out in this fight, or do you see options for submission or decision?
I feel like I can win this fight in any which way, and you know, we'll see Saturday night.
And if you get that belt back, do you feel like this is a trilogy that would need to be completed, or would you kind of look at other options out there?
Definitely possible. You know, I like having options. I like you know, it's nice to be able to have options after a fight, so that's possible.
Yeah, and just last one, Merab said he wants to have 4 title defenses this year. He's already talking about having 2 more after you. Do you feel like he is giving you your appropriate respect and focus going into this rematch?
I can't tell you what that dude's thinking. I don't know if he knows what he's thinking. 4 is crazy. I mean, if anyone could do it, I mean, he ain't going to be able to get it done Saturday night, so no, but someone like that could fucking bust out 4 in a year.
Sean, right back here.
Sean, over here.
after you win your fight against Merab, if you win, what are your plans? Training with Adesanya is something that you will keep?
You know, Izzy was just in Arizona. He hit me up. I said, pull up to the gym, hang out, and that was super cool. You know, we live very far apart, so probably won't train with him much more. But you know, just back to work.
And who is next? Do you have someone in mind? Maybe Cory Sanhagen?
I like I said, the Merab trilogy could be there. Peter Yan rematch could be there. Corey could be there. There's so many options after this fight, but pointless talk about until, you know, maybe Sunday rolls around, we can answer that.
And is it possible that maybe in the future, if the UFC fans asks for it, we'll see the Sean O'Malley and Chito Vera trilogy?
Did you see that last fight? Probably not.
Okay, thank you.
Sean, the last time you came off a
I
loss
wish
was when
I
you
was
finished
gonna-
Thomas
Let me do
Almeida
this
and you
last
went on
one.
that crazy streak
Then I'm
to
good.
become champion. During this camp, did you ever reflect on those times, think about what it took to kind of buckle down and do what you did there and prepare to do something similar?
No, I definitely, yeah, the Thomas Almeida fight was one of my favorite performances, one of my favorite knockouts. So, you know, coming off that loss and coming back to that performance, definitely, you know, I've watched that fight back a few times and would love to Thomas Almeida Merab.
And I respect the life changes that you made, and I'm assuming that they helped you in other ways other than your professional MMA career. Did you feel refined, healthier in other aspects of your life? And if so, what were they?
I just feel more slowed down. Like life's just a little bit slower in a good way.
Thank you.
Is like kind of on that same note, do you feel like maybe you're able to be more present with especially your family now that you're kind of maybe not distracted with that persona, that the Sugar Sean persona?
100%.
What in what ways? Like, are you just doing more things with your family, or like, how does this kind of manifest?
I just feel like I'm not, you know, you catch yourself, even if you're, I catch myself driving, like kind of surfing Instagram, like, what the fuck am I doing? Just like catch myself and doing stuff like that, or like playing with my daughter, surfing X, like what am I doing here? So I feel like it just, limiting those distractions, definitely more present with the family.
This mouse backpack is the best I've ever used.
Introducing the Mouse X.
With training, with friends, just in general.
And it just seems like in general, I mean, you got your father in your corner. You're talking about a lot better times with your children and that kind of thing. Do you just feel like you've grown a lot closer to your family, especially now that you're 30?
I enjoyed my 20s. 20s were good. I feel like 30 was time to really grow up, and you know, I'm very happy with how my 20s played out. I was able to stay dialed. I stayed disciplined. I was always focused. I never was lacking in fight camps, and never was an issue. Just now, I feel like I'm just evolving.
Do you think you would have gotten there if maybe that fight in September didn't go the way it did, if you had won that fight?
Yeah, I do. I do think I would have gotten there because I've wanted to do that for a long time. I think that just kind of either pushed it forward, but I do think I would eventually have gotten to this spot. But yeah, you never know.
And then one more question about the fight itself, the fact that this is a rematch. You're no stranger to rematches now. How much do you kind of, especially from your first experience with Cheeto and everything, how much do you draw upon the fact that you've had time in the cage with this person to be able to help you in this case?
Okay, that's stupid. I don't know why they're still asking about fucking Cheeto, dude. He fought that guy twice. So annoying. Okay, with that, I'm done with the media day. Tomorrow, I might do a live reaction to the press conference, so that would be fun. I feel like freaking midget here. There we go. To the press conference, so that'll be fun. I'll do that. Maybe I'll do it live when they do it live. So